Today we're going to have a very special guest with us. We're going to be connecting with Trevor Trinity Mbatha, a current J-1 participant at the Inn at Pound Ridge by Jan George. He came all the way from South Africa and he's currently in the US doing his program with us. So today we'll be delving into Trevor's experiences, challenges, and successes during his J-1 program. Let me invite him in. Questions here on the comments, and once we have everything ready, we'll be able to answer them, and Trinity will be answering some of your questions. So, hi Trinity, how are you today?
Well, I'm very well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm pretty great. Thank you so much for joining us today and for talking a little bit about your experience with us here.
Yes, sir.
For everyone who just joined us, I'm going to introduce everything again. So, again, everyone, welcome. This is Trevor Trinity Mbatha. He's one of our current J1 participants. He is working at the Inn at Pound Bridge by Jan George. So please, Trevor, tell us a little bit, how are you enjoying USA so far?
Well, that's a good question. The US currently, it's good, you know. You really need to adjust to the culture. It's not for everyone, but then you can adjust if you are willing to learn. So it's a fast-moving environment where it challenges you, more especially coming from Africa, where everything is a bit subtle. Coming to a first world country, so you'll have to adjust to that because it's a different culture, different ethnic groups, different lifestyles. So it's good. It's been good. It's been good. I don't want to lie. It's been great.
I'm really glad to hear that. I'm glad that you're enjoying your time there.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
tell us a little bit more about yourself, your professional background, and what led you to the J1 program?
I'll start back in 2016 when I embarked on my culinary journey at Staines Culinary School. I've been a chef now for 8 years this year, and I started my internship at Fancourt in South Africa, and then worked up to Doha as my first international experience at St. Regis, Masha Arabia, and then last year I decided to join the J1 visa, which was something new for me because I didn't know uh, what I was putting myself into. But then Placement International made the process seamlessly for me because now you get to meet employers on the other side, and you guys make sure that everything goes as planned, and if there's any hurdles or hiccups along the way, always be sure to communicate with your J1 visa manager or something, or even your visa specialist, if you get like any hiccups, whether it be financial but it's always good to communicate those parts because there are ways around that. It's not just about the money. It's about if you are willing to come to the United States or to join on the J1 visa, then anything is possible. It's all up to you.
That's great to hear, and I think that it's an amazing, as you mentioned, everyone who's interested. As we know, the
Mhm.
Bridge is like known for basically the offerings that it has and everything that is around us. Could you share a little bit about what your day-to-day activities are like there?
Day-to-day activities are it's a fast-moving environment. You really need to pace yourself. Getting to know the metric system will work to your advantage, and we serve relatively good food for a great clientele around the inner pound ranges and the surrounding communities, of which where you find wealthy people around the area. So the standard of food and quality needs to be executed to its best. So everything you put out there needs to be exceptionally well. Hence the name St. George's. He's also a Michelin-star chef. He owns a restaurant in the Michelin Mile in New York. So it's great to be here. So working in the restaurant as a whole is, yeah, basically what I've just mentioned right now. You really need to move fast and communicate and be a team player.
Right, that's amazing. Speaking of Jan George, as you mentioned, this is one of his properties. How's it like working for Jan George, or have you had the chance to meet him in person?
Currently not, but then you get to meet corporate chefs. One that interviewed me, Chef Mark Lapico, and you've also got executive sous chefs, also like Chef Tara and Chef Nicholas and Jeremy, and then you also get my senior at work, Chef Nicholas Ramirez. So you do get to meet the backbone that runs the corporate system, but not Mr. Dean George in most cases. But then we are still hopeful because there's still time to meet him.
Of course, let's hope that you get the chance and that you get to experience like cooking and working alongside one of the most recognized chefs in the US right now. So tell me,
Yes, sir.
what were your thoughts during the application process? What was it like working here with placement? Was it straightforward?
Ye- yes. I mean everything with placement international is straightforward. It's all up to you. The amount of effort, you always have to be there. Communication is key when dealing with placement international, because now everything happens so abruptly that you really need to give it your entire focus and attention. So paying attention to details and asking questions when you are stuck or you don't know what you are doing is always key, because you don't want to be doing the same thing twice, because that will delay your process of coming into of joining the J-1 applicants have already that have already come through.
I see. Of course, I understand. And tell me, what was the process of application? Did you find it complicated? Was it fast for you?
Well, I wouldn't say it's complicated, but then it does have its own complexities where you are now stepping into a different realm of understanding different types of paperwork. Maybe if you haven't dealt with that, so it opens your eyes up uh, to the process and what it requires for you to enter another country in terms of work. So you put in 100% of the work, and of course, y- you know, placement is there to guide you. So that's all there is. It's to make sure that you leave your country safe, and then you are placed in great hands. So that's where placement comes in, and it's been an absolutely amazing journey with hiccups along the way. But then, that's just how life is.
Of course. Thank you so much. And let's focus a little bit on your visa experience. How was the process of applying for the visa, and how long did it take you to receive your visa?
My visa process was relatively, I think it was like 2 weeks, 2 weeks or so. It took 2 weeks, but then everything happened so fast, because now once after you pass your consulate, then your passport is now taken by the consulate to to actually verify you and 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 post the visa on your passport. So that takes about a week. So the process on its own of like applying to the consulate is a week, and then it will take another week for your passport to come to get your passport. Sorry. So yeah, it's relatively 2 weeks all in
Amazing.
all.
Like
Important.
in 2 weeks, you were ready to go to the US.
Yes, I was nervous, honestly speaking. Nervous than excited, because I I'm an African that doesn't understand the culture. It's a different dynamic. It's a first world country that you have to now understand and adapt. So it was more unsettling for me because I feared that maybe what if I don't fit into the culture? What if I disappoint myself? So all those fears actually were the ones that you know delayed my gratification and process of excitement.
I see. I understand, but now that you're over there, how has it been? Have these fears been like swayed away?
It has exceeded most of my expectations. To be honest with you, it has exceeded most of my expectations. It is not what I expected it to be, but then it's amazing. It's been, you know, um, for me to be a part of the society and community and playing part as well as the fellow Americans in the country is it's an amazing feeling, you know, to play your part in society and also being a part of the society. So it depends on who you are. If you don't fit in, don't beat yourself up. I mean, it's not for everyone. Sometimes you'll find your people in different spaces, but always be cautious and careful because you don't want to now be meeting the wrong type of people. So it's always good to link up with work colleagues and work around that space, and then up until you meet more amazing people that will help you along your journey.
That's amazing. And how would you say that this experience has affected you professionally and in your growth as a chef?
Wow. It has actually impacted my growth as a chef in an amazing way. I have actually learned to that you actually need to be prepared. So come prepared. I think most of us, or for me, let me speak for myself. Sorry, for me, I didn't come in as prepared as I would have loved to, but then hence I said the culture and the experience, the people, have come in to actually to help you so that you don't feel left out. But then it is always important for the next applicants to know this and acknowledge that come prepared because it's for your own better advancement, and it will also help in improving your working habits, so to speak.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing. And tell me, what is like some of the challenges that you first encountered when you moved to the US, like these culture shocks that you had, and how did
Mm.
you overcome them?
Well, the challenges that I had was like accommodation to start off with. So I booked myself into a motel so that you come in and then you look for an accommodation. So I booked myself in for a week. Uh, at that given time or point, the culture shock had not settled in. It's only probably at work now because you meet different cultures, ethnic groups. You really need to be at your best when it comes to working with everyone. So discrimination is not tolerated. Always find a way to communicate. I mean, these days we got iPhones. You can always use Google Translation. So don't make an excuse not to communicate with someone because they are a different nationality than you. Then you might as well pack your bags and go home because that's the culture. It's about experiencing different dynamics and different cultures altogether.
That's amazing, and that you get to meet so many different people at the same time and expand your range of both friendships and as well as your understanding of the culture.
Yes,
What
sir.
would you say is one of your most proud moments or a big achievement you did at the Impact at Palm Ridge?
Well, So recently, about a week or 2 weeks ago, we were nominated for the for two categories under the Westchester Cup in the restaurant group for best restaurant. That's among and we also received a comment about a week ago on the food, and our senior chef Nicolas Ramirez was actually proud of the entire team. So he shared the remarks, which were good, by the way. So that was one of my proud moments for working at the Inner Pound Ridge, because it was now a team effort instead of like me, or it's everyone that contributed to the success of the establishment, the restaurant itself.
It's amazing. And honestly, congratulations again for this great team effort and achievement that you've done. Finally, what would you recommend to any placement international for any young professionals that are looking to go international to live an experience like you do? What would you recommend them?
Well, I would recommend. That's a good question there, Manuel. Recommendations are tricky, but I would recommend that placement support uh, the candidates more, if possible, with accommodation, because some people they might not, they might like coming into Pound Ridge. That was a bit of a challenge coming into this space, and it's like 30 minutes away from the city. So coming into the space, accommodation, and you're gonna have to now rely on your team members that work for other transportational needs and stuff. So that was a bit of a challenge for me as a whole, but then it's good because I've overcome that. But now for someone that comes in and uh, falls under victim, I feel we can all contribute towards that. I mean, they can always reach out to me as well, placement, and then I'll be willing to forward, context to actually help that person find accommodation and so forth. So I think we need to all work as a network so that we can help the next group.
Of course,
Advance.
building up on that, and I'm so glad that you touched on it. Placement International is actually now going to be adding its housing services and its housing platform. It's a project that will be launched pretty soon. So for everyone who's currently looking for accommodation and for housing when going into the programs, they will find it much easier to find these accommodations. We take these kinds of comments from J-1 participants as you in mind, and we know that this has been something that has been challenging for a lot of you guys. So in
Yes,
order to support you, Placement International will now be launching the service, and we will now be helping you guys. So please keep an eye out in the next upcoming months, and our platform will soon be up and running, and that will be amazing for everyone else.
awesome.
Um, so tell me, Trinity, just to finish the interview, what would you say to someone right now? Like, what's your advice if someone is thinking about going on a J-1 program?
My advice to anybody really, without being biased to the question, anyone that wants to or that has an urge to travel, or that feels unaccomplished where they are, I would say take that leap of faith and go find yourself in a different environment, in a different culture, because that will help you in the near future when you want to make other professional choices or decisions, and it will sort of guide you as to give you more experience on making better decisions, because now you're stepping into different uh, cultural dynamics than what you are used to, and first world country that plays a huge role. So go for it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Trin, for sharing your incredible journey and for telling us a little bit about what's been like being in the J1 program and working with PI. Now, I would like to open a little bit the floor to everyone in the comments to see some of the questions that they're sending us. Please continue writing in the chat and we'll try to answer as many as we can. that of course, the ones that you can reply to.
Yes.
We actually received some questions beforehand from our stories, so thank you everyone also who wrote in before. One that was very interesting is they were asking, how was your experience at the American Embassy for the J-1 interview?
Wow. My experience was extremely great. I was actually late because I made a mistake. So, going back to our conversation where you have to pay attention to the details, it's very much important. It is paramount that you check your the details, the fine print, and make sure that everything corresponds because you'll be getting a lot of emails. So be sure to track each and every email, whether you screenshot and print it out so that you are up to scratch with what's happening at all times. But then my embassy experience was amazing because they were willing to help me even after the closing time because of that one uh, mistake that I made that could have actually ended everything for me then there. So for someone that's excited about going on the J1, don't let the excitement overrule your thinking capacity and paying attention to detail to the finer prints.
Of course. And someone else asked us if you had any special training or anything in particular that you had to do while you were doing your training at St. George in order to adapt to that kitchen environment for a Michelin star.
The Michelin star. Well, we work under a Michelin star restaurant group. So where I'm at right now at the Inner Pound Ridge, it's actually the foundation to building Michelin star chefs. So everything that's done there, everything from production to guests, but in the Michelin star, it's done at a much higher level and a much higher scale. So that sort of gives you an overview of Michelin star standards and the techniques. Because now, when you move into Michelin star, you move into more techniques, and then where Inner Pound Ridge focuses more on flavor dynamics, plating, and execution. We cater for numbers, so we have to be efficient when it comes to speed, flavor, and plate. So that teaches you a lot about the industry itself.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Trevor. I think with that, we're going to be bringing this session to an end. For everyone
Yes,
else who wrote in the comments any questions regarding to your J1 internship, if you want to know a little bit more information about the J1 program, about the application, or how many times you can apply, we will be replying to all of you through direct messages. And you can always feel free to join us and to apply with us through the links on our bio, as well as sending us an email to info@placement-int.com, and we'll be more than happy to aid you. Again, Trevor, thank you so much for being here. We're so happy to have had you here with us. And
it's a pleasure.
we wish you the best in the rest of your journey in the US and, of course, in your professional future. We're so happy to have had you here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye.